Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Good afternoon, this is Your Stocks. I'm Mangalam Malu. With me is Nigel D'Souza, and as we speak, the frontliners, well, they're moving around in a very narrow range, absolutely flat for the Nifty as well as Sensex. Right now with a downward bias. Some time ago, it was with a mild upward tick. However, what is not doing well is the mid-cap space, 0.5% lower there, and out there we're seeing a lot of these old economy stocks losing in trade, the likes of Torrent Power as well as NCC Limited. Nigel, good afternoon. We keep talking about the red and green lines. Seems like they had a fight over the weekend, tried to make up this morning, but then again they're fighting again. Both those red and green lines should come up for you, sitting as far apart as it can be.
It's only fair, right? After the weekend, let's not talk for a while. Let's stay away till the next weekend, maybe. Actually, I was just thinking, I was connecting the market to me and my wife over the weekend. She's acting like the auditor nowadays. She's resigning at any point of time, and I'm the company. I'm just left like, oh my God, let's comply with her. So it seems that kind of a scenario.
You comply with her. In fact,
you'll know that in a while, Mangalam, as we know.
You should make a national TV proclamation, actually, that because the way you were saying, in case she's watching, she'll be very angry. I don't think you'll get dinner tonight.
I always play safe, and I cannot appoint another auditor. So
okay,
I have to be good. All right, let's get to the markets. First up, running you through all the top stories at this point of time. The market trades in a narrow range, virtually at the session's low. The metal stocks, they drag, but ICICI Bank bats with the bulls. The mid-cap index lags in trade.
Oil marketing companies, they're tanking up, celebrate in an overnight fall in crude prices ahead of the OPEC meet this week. Metal stocks under pressure as global copper and aluminum prices cool off.
An ICICI Bank stock gains on the possibility that an interim CEO may be brought on board. Board may appoint ICICI Prudential Life CEO Sandeep Bakshi to the top job.
The Idea Cellular Vodafone merger moves closer to reality. Department of Telecom, or DOT as we know it, likely to give a conditional nod this week.
And an influential investor, Shankar Sharma, says the market was due for a correction and this shouldn't be seen as a bear market. Adds that a 20 to 30% correction could be coming, but he isn't worried. All right, ICICI Bank, that's the top gainer today on the Nifty. If you just pull up the contribution chart, and if it wasn't for ICICI Bank, well, we would have been even deeper in the red. You pull up a contribution chart, you'll see ICICI Bank is holding strong. It's like, playing a good innings today, up nearly around 3% as we speak. And we understand that a board meeting is underway, and Ritu Singh is here to tell us what's likely on the agenda. Ritu.
Well, Nigel, it's an important board meeting. It may well decide the fate of Chanda Kochhar, whether or not at the end of that board meeting, she remains the MD and CEO of the bank. So what we've picked up, there were news reports this morning that suggested Sandeep Bakshi was being considered by the ICICI Bank to head ICICI Bank as its interim CEO while the probe is on in the Videocon loan case. Separately, there were also reports which suggested that M.K. Sharma, the chairman of the bank, had written to the board seeking their opinion on whether or not to send Chanda Kochhar on an indefinite leave. What we've gathered so far is this, that a board meeting is in fact currently underway. On top of the agenda is, of course, the ratification of the appointment of Justice Sri Krishna as the head of the independent probe committee that will look into these allegations. The second and more important thing on the agenda could be the discussion on the need for an interim CEO if the board feels that while this probe is on, Chanda Kochhar should be sent away. And then, as being one of the, senior most executives on the ICICI Group companies, Sandeep Bakshi may well be considered for the post of an interim CEO. In fact, I did manage to speak to Mr. Bakshi this morning. He said that he had not been informed by the board of any such decision yet. He, in fact, is currently in his office at the ICICI Pru headquarters. But as we said, the board will take a call on this today, and thereafter, perhaps we're expecting an announcement as early as this evening or in the next few days on what they decide to do as far as the fate of Chanda Kochhar is concerned.
All right, Ritu, thanks a lot for that. ICICI Bank, that stock virtually at the high point of the day, giving 16 points to the Nifty and 140 points to the Nifty Bank. Had it not been for ICICI Bank, we would have seen much sharper cuts, as Nigel said. But let's get on with the show. Joining us today, we have Gaurang Shah and Prakash Gaba to answer all your stock queries. Good afternoon, gentlemen, for joining in. And let's go straight then to Shashi B, calling us from New Delhi with a query. Shashi, go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Good afternoon. I'm Shashi from Delhi. I have the Snowman Logistics and their buy price is 66 rupees. Could you please let me know that should I sell it or buy it for averaging, or what should I do? And I'm holding these stocks since 2016, around December.
All right, since December 2016, Snowman Logistics. How long can you hold it for, Shashi?
Next 1 and 2 years. No, means I can hold.
Okay, you can hold it for the long term.
Yeah.
All right, Gaurang, your view on Snowman Logistics. The company's earnings have disappointed consistently quarter after quarter, year after year. IPO investors still under, in the red, out of the money. And this person's been holding for the last 2 years, has lost about 20 rupees per share from his buy price. Snowman Logistics, what do you think the prospects of this company are going forward, and should he hold on if he wishes to for the next 1 or 2 years?
Good afternoon to you, Mangalam, and to all of you all in the studio and viewers. Well, first of all, no specific coverage on Snowman Logistics because we don't have one. Secondly, I think a lot of investors, Mangalam, got invested in logistics sector because of that entire GST play unfolding and getting implemented at ground level, because then a lot of unorganized sector either will have to come in line or disappear from the existence. Post that entire euphoria and run-up of implementation of GST and at current levels, I think there are very few companies which stand credibility in terms of getting advantage of GST and making most of the logistics sector market share. No specific view on Snowman's, but if the investor is wanting to make a switch and is a fan of logistics sector, then Transport Corporation of India is what I would recommend as an alternative investment idea, but with a 3-year plus kind of time horizon.
All right, Prakash, would you have a view on Snowman Logistics?
It's a weak view. Basically, it is weak. If you are wrong and if the chart is weak, you exit. Don't add or average. That was his question. Of course not. It's weak. It's coming down. I won't add.
All right, the stock price is at 46 rupees. I remember September 2014 is when the IPO happened. It was at 47 rupees. Those who bought at the listing price of 75 are still, losing about 20-25 rupees per share.
Absolutely, Mangalam. You've been a year a while, it seems. 2014. I remember you've been telling me this, and yeah, great. 3 years, I think.
3.5 years. Is
absolutely splendid. Okay, let's move on. We have our next query. We have Geeta, who writes to us from Chennai. She holds around 350 shares of GIC Housing Finance at around 515 rupees for the past 3 months. Short-term investor wants to know whether or not to hold or to sell. Prakash, down, your way. What do you think?
Well, I would say that this basically GIC Housing Finance chart structure is positive. Recently, we have seen a low at around 350 zones. And it's bounced from there. Looks like that should hold. If that is the case, the first indication will come once it starts to trade about the 440 marks or 450 marks. That happens, we are out of the wood. That's the time to add if it goes up. Otherwise, wait it out.
All right, Gaurang, do you have coverage on GIC Housing Finance, and a person has bought it for the short term? What's your view?
Stick to the stop loss, as Prakash was mentioning. You bought in at 515 and the stock is at what, I think 360, 380, and you have a short-term view. So first of all, I think, short-term, medium-term people, traders, specifically Mangalam, should be disciplined in terms of, booking losses in case if the trade has not gone in your favor. Purely from a long-term point of view, my advice would be to shift to Diwan Housing Finance Limited. On GIC Housing Finance, we don't have a coverage. But as an alternative investment long-term, DHFL would be a best candidate.
All right, DHFL would be a best candidate in this business. Just keep an eye out on a couple of individual stocks before we shift into a short break or slip into a short break. Tata Motors, that one has moved to the high point of the day, has been doing well in today's trading session. Not a very big wealth creator over the last few years, but currently up 2.5%. With that, we'll take a short break, come back, we focus on some more stocks, some queries when we return.
Keep your eye on the screen. Yes, the mid-cap index is doing a relative underperformance. Pull up the intraday chart of EIL. Now, that should really come up for you on the screen. Just take a look at the way the stock has moved. The mid-cap index is trading in the red, but you have EIL, you have Century Textiles, you have Arvind as well. All these stocks, they're doing well, and they're doing well particularly in the last few minutes. Sharp uptick is what we're seeing on some of these stocks. So just keep an eye out there. The frontline index is looking as flat as can be. It can be a little bit deceiving, but plenty of action in the broader markets. And on that note, we should go to our next caller. I believe we have Mr. Mod, who calls us from Gujarat with a query. He has investments, I believe, in REC. Hi, sir. Good afternoon. How can we help you? What's your query?
I am holding 140 1500 share है 140 हिसाब से.
Okay, 140 के रेट पे 1500 शेयर. जी सर, और आप लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर हो सर?
हाँ, लॉन्ग टर्म है, अभी 2 साल हो गए.
Okay, all right. Gaurang, coming across to you. REC sitting on a bit of a loss. Retired individual doesn't mind hanging in there for the longer term. Should he?
Well, is that okay if I answer in Hindi or English? Should I continue?
Please, Gaurang, go ahead.
ओके तो महेंद्र भाई, पहला है तो अगर आपका निवेश लंबी अवधि के नज़रिए से, तो ये जो ट्रांसमिशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से जुड़ी हुई कंपनियां हैं, ऊर्जा उत्पादन से जुड़ी हुई कंपनियां, उनमें निवेश का नज़रिया कम से कम 3 से 4 साल का होना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो भी सरकार कोशिश कर रही है नीतियों को बदलाव में ला करके ज़मीनी स्तर पर अमल पर रखे, ताकि स्टेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड की हालत सुधरे, ट्रांसमिशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनियों की हालत सुधरे और ऊर्जा उत्पादन करने वाली कंपनियों को मुआवजा मिले जब भी वो एक एक यूनिट ऊर्जा के बेचते. तो रूरल इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन कॉरपोरेशन के ऊपर हमारी पॉजिटिव कवरेज है. प्रॉब्लम यह है कि आपका निवेश 140 पर, वो भी 1500 शेयर और मौजूदा भाव करीबन 112-113 का. तो अगर 3-4 साल का नजरिया है तो आप बने रह सकते हैं, हमारी खरीदारी की राय है.
All right, 3-4 साल के नजरिए से बने रहिए. That is the suggestion coming in from Gaurang. Nigel, you want to hazard a guess on what Urja Utpadan means?
No.
Power production. Okay.
Actually, Prakash, you're just going to whisper in my ear, but you took it away before.
Listening to Gaurang in Hindi is actually attending a class.
Attending a class. All right. So next time we'll ask Gaurang to speak more Hindi and try and get in some more Hindi callers.
Hindi is
as well.
amazing.
Yeah, of course, it is amazing.
Prakash, you're just going to whisper in my ear, but you took it away before.
Listening to Gaurang in Hindi is actually attending a class.
Attending a class. All right. So next time we'll ask Gaurang to speak more Hindi and try and get in some more Hindi callers.
Hindi is
as well.
amazing.
Yeah, of course, it is amazing. Urja Utpadan. When was the last time you heard that word?
It'll help me with the auditor.
It'll help you with the auditor.
My wife.
Okay. Move on. We've kept Miss Sanjana waiting. Right. Sorry? Please.
Let's move
Okay,
on.
let's move on. Miss Sanjana has been waiting for a while. She writes to us from Bangalore, holds English shares of State Bank of India at 252 rupees for 1 year. Medium-term investor wants to know whether to hold or sell. Gaurang, State Bank of India, you've had a view earlier as well, but 252 rupees is the buy price, making some bit of money. Do you think one should hold on for the next some time? She's a medium-term investor.
Well, definitely give it time, and the best part about her investment is the investment price 252. And my sense, Mangalam, is that, and most of us, of course, on the fundamental side, believe that a lot of pain that was there for the public sector bank is now a thing of the past, especially in State Bank of India. If I'm not mistaken, and if my memory serves me right, 325 to 345. These are long-term targets for State Bank of India. So hold on.
Okay, Prakash, what about you?
I like State Bank of India. Basically, it looks like it's bottom out of the lower regions. It's a matter of time, it will go up. Just continue. Good stock. I would say the good stock among the bad sector. Hold on.
Okay, all right. So hold on is the call that's coming in there from Prakash. But our next query as well is already in. We have Miss Aditi, who writes to us from Bengaluru. She wants to buy around 75 shares of Future Retail. When is the right time to enter the market? You want to comment on this, Mangalam? Not advice, but you want to tell us something about the stock?
Advice. Well, from 140 rupees, I remember the stock has surged to about 563 rupees. In just percentage terms, it has outperformed even DMart in terms of the returns that it has given, along with VMart Retail as well.
Oh,
so at these levels, I'm not sure what the advice by Gaurang and Prakash would be, but it's a good sector.
Yeah.
There is a long-term story in the Indian consumer market.
I remember Future Retail, everyone was saying, we can't believe the story, can't believe the story. The rate made you believe it, the way
exactly.
the stock moved. But Gaurang, your take on Future Retail? Or on the sector on the whole?
Unfortunately, Nigel, we don't have a coverage, so the sector looks extremely positive. And the stock that you guys were comparing, Future Retail with DMart, Avenue Supermarts, as a disclosure, we came out with a subscribe for the IPO, and the wealth has multiplied X number of times. And the retail story is absolutely strong. The only request to viewers and investors is Just understand the company that you are investing before you get invested. Ask questions.
All right, so let's ask questions. Prakash, your view on future retail, it's seen a stellar run. Do you think it's more for good?
Looks like it's more for good, but I would say that at lower levels. I would say that basically when I look at the structure, still positive. If you get a dip, buy opportunity is there. 500 is a very strong support zone. So between 500 and 565, you buy it and hold for long term. Because now it's into a consolidation for over a year or so. Somewhere around a year or so. So after a breakout, it's going to run. So far, good. How long is it going to wait? No idea. It's a breakout.
Okay, all right. Can buy the stock at 500 rupees. That's the advice that's coming in there. Slip into another snappy break. Come back. We have a whole host of callers who are waiting by. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Just keep an eye out on a couple of these mid-cap stocks. While Nigel was saying, the frontline indices appear flat and there is a lot of action happening in the mid-cap stocks. Yes, they are underperforming, and the underperformance is more pronounced in a couple of these metal names. So NMDC, which was already weak, has now moved to the low point of the day. And we have MRF. That one too has moved to the low point of the day. MRF should come up for you. Lost about 850 rupees in today's trading session as well.
NMDC, Mangalam, the talk is, it's not confirmed as of now, but the talk on NMDC is, last month they did that brave move. They went ahead and they hiked prices. Right?
Okay.
As it is, the offtake in Karnataka was struggling, and they hiked prices. So even the bigger buyers, for example, a JSW Steel, reports indicate that JSW Steel is saying, no, we're not going to buy it from here. We rather import it, we rather source it from other parts, but we don't want to take it from NMDC. So my understanding is that, in fact, there was always a likelihood that NMDC will have to go and correct that price hike that they took. And it appears that could play out in the next week or so. And that explains why the stock has moved to the low point of the day, because they're increasing prices, but the sales are not increasing. Common sense should prevail out there as well. So I think the street is working with some news reports as of now, unconfirmed news reports. We'll wait for confirmation. By next week, I think we should get the official verdict.
All right, so we will wait for that official confirmation on NMDC's pricing. As of now, the street believes that the company has gone ahead and cut prices, which is why the stock is at the low point of the day. So let's go ahead. We have Mr. S.N. Ghosh calling us from Kolkata with a query. Mr. Ghosh, go ahead.
I bought Tata Tele, 5,000 Tata Tele shares at around rupees 7 on the basis of a news report that the employees will be buying out Tata Tele from the company.
Oh.
And at that time there was a upsurge in the price, but now it is going down. What shall I do?
What shall you do? Well, what news report was it? I'm just trying to figure out. What triggered that purchase?
That the employees will be given the management or some power or something like that for the Tata Tele.
All right. Mr. Ghosh, your profession suggests that you are a retired individual. Are you an active investor in the markets? Or
Yes.
Okay.
I invest.
So this was just a punt that you took based on a news report, right?
Yes.
All right. Prakash, what's your view? I mean, a 7 rupee stock he thought couldn't go any lower, and then there were news reports. Well, what happened? It's gone lower. It's down to 5 rupees. Do you think he should save those 5 rupees and get out of it?
Mangalam, the rule is no low is low. If it's gone to a low, it can keep and go lower. Just don't put a floor underneath, and no high is high. Don't put a ceiling on it. Tata Tele is a weak structure. One should be out. Simple as that.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Gaurang, as well as Prakash, for joining in and helping all our guests out. We'll wrap up on your stock. That's it from Mangla and me. And remember, after this, we'll have closing bell. That'll take you through the final hour of trade.